everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Abby and this is where I like to talk about all things fiber, mostly crochet, but maybe some knitting when it gets cooler. Also maybe some sewing coming up. I like to talk about pop-up markets and just generally all things yarn, fiber, fabric, and art. So this is a weekly makes video, and the first thing I want to show you is the Share the Love Instagram challenge that was put out by Stacy Makes and the Cozy Buckeye. I will put their information up on the screen when I edit this video. And the challenge was to find 5 free Instagram patterns, follow the creator, make it, and then post it to your socials. So I've been posting one at a time to Instagram all week, but I also wanted to do one big long form video where I show all this stuff at once. I think there was also like a tag a buddy in there, but I don't really know anybody IRL. I might have 5 Instagram followers that I actually know in real life, so I did not do that part. But anyway, let me jump right in. I started last Sunday and I finished yesterday, which was Saturday, and the challenge was 5, but I had to be an overachiever and do an extra one. But number 1 was this tiny strawberry, and I made 3. These were quick, and I mean clearly like they're small, but I really liked this pattern, so I made 3. I put a face on 2 of them. Actually, this one's abbreviated anyway because I ran out of this yarn. This is just scrap yarn that I used. The creator is called, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, the creator is called Yarn Goals, and I'm looking for, oh, here's the basket where I have the stuff on my desk, and I'm going to put it in this basket when I'm finished because this stuff is going to my market in a couple of hours. So as I was saying, Yarn Goals, I am certain not a native English speaker, especially because the creator gave very scientific terms for the different part of the strawberry, where I just would have been like stem, berry. I don't even remember what they were, but very scientific terms for the parts of a berry. Moving on, but I really liked that one, and it inspired me to work on something else that I'm going to show you later on in the video, because I do make bag charms like these, and I also make bags, but I've noticed that none of them match, and I've tried to merchandise them together and it's just awkward. Like I have a Pop-Tart charm on a granny square bag, it just doesn't work. So I really wanted to make a strawberry bag, but let me get through this challenge first and then I will show you my progress on that. Here's my notebook if I keep looking down. Number 2 is Pam Alien the Chameleon, and I love the name of the artist. The creator is called Idle Hands Fiber. You totally get points for the name. She was one of 2 people that responded when I tagged them in my posts, and she seems very cool. I also looked at her other paid patterns, and as soon as I get through my queue of patterns that I have paid for and not used yet, I definitely want to buy some. She has this Domingo the Flamingo that just looks incredible because I've never made a flamingo that I liked. So if you happen to see this, I really like your work, and I really appreciate that you responded to me when I posted. So this is Pam. She does crouch very nicely. I like this yarn, but not for amigurumi. I am learning. When Joanne was in its last 4 days and the only yarn left was some Big Twist Value, and I picked up a couple of those, this green Woobles yarn was left, and because it was pennies, I grabbed all of them. And the first thing that I did with it was a frog, and I used too big of a hook, and I didn't like how there were holes, so I sized down to a 4. And I do like how scaly she looks with this yarn. This is easy peasy yarn, it's beginner's yarn because it doesn't split, and that is nice, but it did kind of slow me down. It's not as smooth as some other textures are, And I didn't stuff it that well because I didn't want the same thing to happen where you could see the stuffing in the holes. I like the result. I don't like to chain 4 and single crochet 4 around, which you do know the tail is curled up, so you can't really, but this was probably, I want to say 20 rounds, but it probably wasn't that many. And then I sewed it down right here. But a lot of single crochet 4 around, and then it gets wider. You do increases to make the body, and then you sew on the legs, and having to make these toes. And I think these were also single crochet 4 around, and I had to make 8 of them. I like it, but I don't know if I like it enough to do it again. I love her little bug eyes though. I don't know if she's gonna sell, but she does crouch very cutely on a table. I think she will, you know, some lizard loving child might want this. I just feel like it's not stuffed well. She's a little bit lumpy, but I really like, I like this pattern. I'm definitely gonna try more patterns by this designer. That was number 2. Number 3 is by, I hope I'm saying this right, Ellie Yarn Art. It might be Eli Yarn Art. And this is Maple the Shiba Inu. I wanted to make a dog because I love dogs and I don't feel like I had very many. I don't normally go for these like potato shaped dogs, but it was quick. I will say that. This was very, very fast, but I feel like it's a little just lopsided, and because when you do it in a spiral, things aren't going to match up just right, and I may try it again in concentric circles instead of the spiral because I just feel like these feet are a little bit off, and maybe I'll play around with it. I don't know. I kind of feel like the chest is a little bit off center. She's cute, and maybe some Shiba Inu owner will pick this up. I don't think I'm going to ask for more than $5 for it, but very cute. Glad I did it. And I did a second one by the same designer that I'll show you in a second, but I am embarrassed by the next one. This one's terrible, but I am fulfilling the challenge and I'm just gonna show it to you, and I really don't want to. As you see from my first couple of things here, I normally use acrylic yarn and like a size 3.5 hook, and I always wondered why other people got things done so quickly, and I'm realizing I'm just been slowing myself down all this time. But I like the detail in small yarn. I like the how I can see the stitches, and so I was like, you know what, let me try something different with this challenge. And I was at Walmart and I bought some chenille yarn, and also I was watching, I think her name was Wilting Wildflower, Rachel. If that's not your name, I will get it right. She mentioned Crochet Vision and Charlie the Crab, and I love watching Crochet Vision, and I weirdly, like all within the same couple of days, Rachel mentioned Charlie the Crab and how he flies off the shelves at every market. And then I was watching Crochet Vision, Sarah, pack up her stuff for a market, and she picked up Charlie the Crab, and I was like, oh, I want that. But I also have a whole bunch of other patterns that I paid for and not used yet, and I did go onto her website. The pattern is $6, which I think will be worth it, but not yet because I've got patterns that I had paid for and just like put in my Google Drive and not used, but eventually I'm gonna get to it. So I thought, let me find a free crab pattern, and I'm just gonna show it to you. Y'all, this is hideous. What is this? This is Crabner by Cluck and Buzz Crochet. This is 1000% me and not the pattern, because I saw the tester appreciation on Instagram. It does not look like this. What's going on here? This is just bad. And I don't know what these bumps are on the back, and it's way too fat. The tester appreciation that I saw, the eyes were on the top. I don't know why mine are here. I didn't have chenille yarn, so I just had this other thick yarn, and then the white didn't pop against the pink, so I tried to give her eyeliner. It's just bad. She is not, actually no, I'm not even gonna put her in the basket. She is not going to Margot with me. She's probably going in the trash can, but I am being honest about the challenge. That was number 4. Number 5 is probably my favorite. And this is by Chanel's Crochet, who was a second artist who responded, who commented on my Instagram post. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for being active and responding to people that try out your stuff. This is a chubby chick, and I love it. There were 2 options. There is a strawberry hat and a frog hat. I went with a strawberry hat because I think sometimes at markets, like if I had a little chick in a frog hat, people would be like, what is that? And then I'd be like, oh, it's a chick in a frog hat. And people would be like, what? So I liked the strawberry hat. I think it would be very easy to modify to orange or kiwi. I definitely want to do that, but I just love how tiny he is and so quick. And if you saw my bonus video this week where I have picked up a whole bunch of plush yarn, I might try a bigger version of this, and I just want to see like which ones sell. Except I don't have orange, so if I do it, it might be white and yellow, but I wish I had orange in plush yarn. I do not, but this is my favorite of the week. Yes. You are cute. I'm trying to get you straight in the camera. I think he might sell today. Because I'm an overachiever. I did a 6th one. And I think I still have some more. Like, I've started looking more. And you know, I don't, like, Instagram is not my go-to for free patterns. And by midweek, I was like, you know what, if I've learned anything, it's that Instagram is still not my go-to for finding free patterns. But after a while, I started like, okay. And I started saving some more. I would just find them in my feed, and I've saved a couple more, so I may do some more entries for the Share the Love Challenge, but I did do a 6th one, and I think I love it. Also by Ellie Yarn Art is this Squid Game soldier, and it was a little bit tough. I tried to cover up, you know, of course when you do things in a spiral and you change color, I tried to cover it up a little bit by doing this horizontal line, like right over where the color change breakup is. I thought the square would be easier than the triangle, or I really hope nobody looks at this and says, wow, will you make me a triangle and a circle, because I'm scared of making that circle. And I thought at first the triangle would be the easiest, but then it was like, you know what, no, I'm just gonna go with square. But he's so cute. And I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some Squid Game fan who sees this and loves it. So I might also try to make a plush version of this, because I do have very recently acquired a whole bunch of plush and blanket yarn, so I might make a bigger version. Let me see how much attention it gets at the market before I make that decision. So that is the Instagram challenge. Did make a few other things this week, because my go-to for free patterns is Ribbler. And why I love Ribbler is because I can click on the line in the pattern and it marks out, you know, if I do an Instagram pattern, I might try to like mouse over the row where I am, and then I have to take notes. If I step away and come back, I have to take notes about where I left off. Same thing with PDF patterns. So I just got, Ribbler is my go-to now. There are some interesting patterns on Ribbler. I don't, you know, I've learned over time to be picky with my free pattern limit per day, but I really felt a need to redeem myself, and because I have made crabs before and they're cute. And so I was looking, I have a crab and it's adorable and it's packed up in my cart, otherwise I would show it to you right now. He hasn't sold yet, but I love him. And when people look at my little minis, I think the crab gets a lot of attention, but he just hasn't found a home yet. And I thought it was one of the Jelly Bean minis by Darling Maple, but it's not, because I started that and I was like, no, first of all, this is really complicated. And I have heard somebody else say that there was a mistake in that, but I was reading through that pattern and I was like, no way was it this complicated. So I went to my go-to Ribbler, and this cutie is called Celebration Crustacean, and it's adorable. This was the last little bit of Bernat yarn that I had. It was just serendipitous that the body is one color and the legs are another. You can see right at the bottom where it changed. I had a 3-shade skein of Bernat, or actually I had 2 of them, and this was all I had left of it, and I just magic knotted them together. So I figured wherever it color changes is where it color changes, but I think this worked out pretty well, because unless you flip it over and you can see that. I am not good at getting things straight on the camera, so pardon me. And then with the yarn being such a dark color, I gave him little white highlights for his eyes and little mouth. For this, you do make these front claws, and it was a little bit hard to do, or for me, in blanket yarn. And then you also, this is like chain up, chain down to do these back legs. And I have learned with this plushy yarn, you can be a little bit less perfect with your placement of things. It just feels like it's a little bit more forgiving for mistakes, but he's so cute. Let me see which one moves first, him or the crab that I already have. But I will probably make more of these. And you know, also, if I do end up making Charlie the crab, because he's really big, so if a kid goes to that, I can always be like, well, I have this one, and this one's $10. I might sell the smaller ones because I have the bigger one as the attention getter. That has happened before. It's a good strategy. All right, so in the basket. Oh, I missed. Not a basket player. In the basket. At a really big market that I did 2 weeks ago, I sold out of all my loaf cats, and I have had 0 loaf cats. So an extra thing that I did this week was I made this giant loaf cat, because I am used to acrylic. This is just comically large to me, and this is the pale pink Mainstays chenille yarn that I picked up at Walmart. I also hand painted the eyes. Can it pick up? Yeah. Can you see? It's blue paint and glitter nail polish. I have been enamored watching other people say that they make eyes or that they sell eyes, and I was like, that's kind of cool. I don't need another craft, but I looked it up, and it can be as simple as a layer of glitter nail polish and then a layer of paint, and I got a set of iridescent paints on Amazon, and it was a really cheap thing, and the nail polish is like super cheap. So if you are new to painting eyes, and you know, I can show you another pair that I have drying right now. I start with the glitter nail polish, because at first I was like, how in the world do you get paint to stick to the back of safety eyes? Like, wouldn't it all just like scratch off and then over time rub it against the yarn? Like, does that even work? But the nail polish as a base makes sense. So I do a couple layers of glitter nail polish, and I have learned to use more than I think I need. So I do let them dry in, because if you've ever tried to do glitter nail polish and not let it dry, the glitter just smears. So this is a multi-day process. You do a coat of glitter nail polish, let it dry. I like to let things dry overnight. Another coat of glitter nail polish, waste a couple hours, do that in the morning, maybe in the evening, come back. A very, very thick layer of paint, because it could just scratch. Even with I think it will stick to the nail polish a little bit better than the back of eyes, but I just have to like glue it on pretty thick, and then let that dry overnight, and then I seal it with some clear nail polish, and I think that works pretty good. So I made these, and you know what, since we're talking about them, they're just right over here. These are bigger, and I really like these. I really like these. And so you can see the glitter. Now these are, I have seen other people with these very cool rainbow eyes and these dots going down the side. This is the first, so these are 18 millimeter, and these are the smallest ones in the package of eyes that I bought. I think these are 30, which gave me a little bit more space to paint, but I don't think I am advanced enough to do multiple colors, like do the ombre effect and the dots. I'm very impressed with those of you who can do them. I am not gonna do the resin and the dipping, and I think because I've also seen like you start with safety eyes that you buy and then you dip it to make them bigger. I have enough stuff. I'm gonna put these down, but I'm just seeing like the green is so pretty. I love it. You will see the plushie that these eyes are going on next week, because this is for a pattern test that I did for Tracy at Travel Crochet. I was so flattered that I got picked, because my gosh, I've certainly applied for plenty of pattern tests and never been picked, and I was just so excited that somebody I've been watching on YouTube picked me, and I'm like, no way. I can't show it to you next week because the pattern test isn't due for a couple of days. So then if I don't sell the Leonard that I made and I'm bringing to today's market, I will certainly show pictures, but I'm working on a second one, and I wanted to paint the eyes. So that is gonna go on a Leona the lobster, and who also might get a little bow on her head, but that's coming up. I've got two more things. So I mentioned the strawberry. I don't like to say that they're keychains. I like to say bag charms or zipper pulls or backpack buddies, because most people that walk up, like kids, are the ones that drag the parents over to my tent because it is a lot of plush toys and things. That's what gets the attention. I would love it if I made bags that got attention for every 5 plushies. I might, probably more like 10. I'll sell a bag, but I really like making bags. I like making things for adults. I think I've said this before. I would buy a bag. I'm not, I would pick it up and think it's the cutest thing ever, but I don't think I would spend $20 on a plush toy as an adult. So, working on that. Maybe it's my bags. But so speaking of, market bags is my thing when I'm at markets, because they are just so mindless, and I don't even have, it's one of very few things where you don't have to look at your work. And at me all you want, but I like Lily Sugar and Cream, and this is a size 5 hook. I like doing the bottom and the straps in a different color than the body. That's just how I like to do them. This is a pattern by Mama in a Stitch, and it's a very loosey-goosey pattern. I mean, it's just like basic instructions for this bag, and then you do the base, and this is half double crochets, and then the body is chain 4 and slip stitch. And once I'm done, and you can usually get this part done before the market even opens, and then I can look around. I don't even have to look at this to make it. And this is gonna mad stretch. It looks small, but I can imagine that once people start putting their groceries in here, how huge it's gonna get. And also the strap, it does look small right now, but it's going to mad stretch because it is half double crochets. I actually stopped myself from making it even longer because I'm like, this is gonna go down to somebody's knees before long once you put weight in this bag, and probably become a crossbody. I am thinking today, if the market is slow, I want to do a mod. I want to make the base bigger, and I want to do a 2-strap. So I'm thinking like a row of single crochets across the top, and then chaining, and then back in, so that it's a 2-handled bag. If that happens, it will certainly be in the next mix video, but look how cute that is. I haven't sold one yet. I think this is like the third or fourth one that I've made. And people will sometimes look at them and be like, oh, I love those bags. I'm not taking less than $25 for those. So people have asked like how much, and I'm like, it's $25. And then it's like, oh, that I'll come back. But it's easy, but it still takes time. So that's my price, and I'm sticking to it. And maybe it's just the wrong venue. I wonder if I had like 10 of them and I went to a farmer's market to sell, like they might move there. So I just enjoy making them, so I'm gonna keep doing it. But back to the beginning. I'm rambling a lot today. It's because I'm drinking coffee. I wanted to make a strawberry bag and then make more of those strawberry charms and actually sell them as one item. Because right now I have a Pop-Tart sitting on a granny square bag. It totally does not match, but it's just to show people like this is what it is, unless you want it for your keys. But I don't think, like, I beat up my keys. So I just don't think that something crocheted and stuffed is gonna hold up to me throwing my keys around and dropping them places. I say they're zipper pulls and bag charms because I think they will hold up a little longer that way. So I wanted to make a strawberry bag, and it's summer, and I was like, it was just in my head all week, like I'm gonna make a strawberry bag. And so I Googled strawberry granny square, and the first place it took me was Rafamusa Designs, her website there, I don't know, is awesome. I love the owl granny square, and that bag's sold, and I really want to make another one. And it's not that hard. It starts with a circle for the body of the owl, and then you put wings on it and eyes, and then you can square out the circle. It's really not that hard. The strawberries aren't perfectly round. So first of all, here's my result. But look how tiny it is. And this took me an hour because so much frogging, and I really need to just like write down the steps. Like I said, I like Ribbler because I can click on the line, but how many steps and how many different stitches go into these these two, is it 2 rows? Yeah, it's 2 rows after making the strawberry. When you switch from the red to the white late, I just really struggled. And then I was using my phone, and it's a blog, so like, oh, reload, sorry. And then I would have to like find it again and know what stitch I was on. And so this was an exercise in frustration. And as I was doing it, I'm like, I just need to write this down. But then I finished, and I would need like 8 or 12 of these minimum to even make a phone and keys bag. And I also used this Big Twist Value. The red and the green, or the pink and the green, are some vintage yarn that I got thrift store or Facebook Marketplace, I don't know. Not something that I could replace, but I have enough of it to do these accents on one bag. This Big Twist Value is too soft and too fuzzy. I don't think it would hold up as a bag, but I mean, I don't want to just throw it away. I might do something with it. It's a little bit too small to be a pocket, but I will hold on to this. I think I'll remember which yarn I used, and if not, it will be inspiration. Well, hey y'all, it's the next day, and as I was editing the video, it just stopped. So I guess the battery died on my husband's camera, so I'm gonna just finish this using my phone, so please excuse like the weird angle and maybe the lower quality sound, I'm not really sure. But I was in the middle of showing you this little tiny strawberry square because I want to make a strawberry bag, and because this is so tiny. And also a couple nights ago, I was trying to sleep, and I think I just started to look for a book to read and found a free download on Amazon Prime of a book called 100 Pop-Up Granny Squares, and it's a free download on Amazon, and I love it. And just for size comparison, you know, this is the perfect size for a bag, and I really love it, and I just wanted to show it to you and finish this video. And I remember the last thing that I was saying was I wasn't sure if I was going to include the market recap as part of this video or if I was going to make another one, and it was going to depend on how many sales I made. Well, this market
yesterday was an absolute bust. And I invested $0 as a fee because this is a free market that is happening. It happens every weekend, and I usually participate. It was slower than usual. There were just no people, and it was too hot. And the organizers were kind of saying like, "Hey, should we just stop until September?" And it's kind of a bummer because most of the time I make a little bit of money, but I'm not gonna make another video because I sold absolutely nothing. So yeah, that's what happened. I will not have a weekly makes video this weekend because it's July 4th and I will be out of the range of some good Wi-Fi. I also probably won't even bring any yarn with me on my trip, so it will be the following week. And I also have a really huge market coming up on July 12th, so when I get back from my break and whatever day that, end of the week, whatever the day that is, I guess that's like July 11th, 10th, 11th, I will hopefully have enough stuff in, you know, my trusty basket here. Oh, wow. To make another weekly makes video, but thank you so much for hanging on this long, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.